Hi, everyone. We're Feedback Loop Coaching, and today we wanted to offer a gift for small business owners near and far. Of course, the small business owners in Worcester are very near and dear to our hearts, and they are a big inspiration for why we created this informal virtual workshop. Anytime we hear of a local business closing their doors, our hearts feel it and we feel the impact of that, and we don't want that to happen anymore, not in our city, not in any city or town all over America. So we asked ourselves, how can we help? And this is what we came up with. You want to share what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, so right n- so for our workshop today, we're going to be talking about how you can align your business and vision with your team members and help them get a buy-in for what you're creating and help you to learn how to inspire them
Yeah.
and connect us through clear communication. So it's
Yeah.
really exciting because when we love working with small businesses because they're our neighbors. And the people who work for the small businesses are also our neighbors. So being able to align one another and have clear communication will just help a neighborhood continue to thrive, if not continue to grow.
Yeah. And so, Chris, you have your MBA.
I do.
You just graduated in May from Roger Williams University's MBA program. And I remember I was with you once at the yoga studio. We were in the office and someone asked you, "What's your intention for going back to school for your MBA?" And I was wondering if you could share with everyone what your response to that was.
My response was to save Worcester. Um, just there's so much change going on in this city, and it's change I've seen in other cities and communities. So why not just help our small businesses speak the language, better understand what happens when the tide begins to change and big money rushes into the city, and also help to fortify one another in knowing that the community that spends their dollar within the community will protect themselves
Mm-hmm.
from whatever other entities begin to come in.
Yeah. And when Chris says big money, he's talking State Street, he's talking BlackRock, and the resources those corporations have are seemingly infinite. However, they're not infinite when we take control over our finances and direct our finances in more of a regenerative way and recirculate the the money among our community, essentially keeping the dollar in the family. So small businesses is just really a muse for us, and we're always inspired by our small businesses. So stick around. What we're going to be talking about today, as Chris mentioned, is the team vision and how to communicate your vision. If you're the small business owner, how to communicate your vision with the team. And if you're a team member watching this, maybe this might inspire some some compassion for the designated leader. Maybe you perceive inefficiencies that your boss or teammate cannot see, and so this might be a great watch for you as well, to just understand what a small business owner is carrying on their shoulders, and also maybe how to lead when you're not the designated leader. So really there's plenty in this for everyone.
That was well said because a lot of what gets missed out on when we see small business owners is the risk they take on when opening up a business or starting an LLC in their own name, because they are the ones that are pushing this forward. They're the ones looking for the funds or the seed money. They're the ones buying the product, organizing the product, creating the service, executing the service, looking for customers, marketing themselves. Like they are the ones. And when a small business owner begins to decide to hire somebody on, that's a huge moment
Yeah.
for them, because for so long they were the caretaker for their business, their baby that was growing.
And that's not even getting into how much someone has to already work through to become an entrepreneur. We live in a culture that tells us it's too risky, it's not worth it. And we navigate through an inner critic that's like, you're going to fail, it's going to fail. And then on top of that, we carry the burden of it's my responsibility to keep these doors open. And so that's a lot. And so we're here to maybe help lessen the burden on your shoulders. And if there's any way we can do that, we're showing up for that because we need you, small businesses. So we're also going to identify some common barriers to clear communication. Again, as we're talking about the stress that a business owner carries, it can be really hard to communicate through the stress. So we're going to talk about that. And then we are going to leave you with some tools to articulate your vision and just communicate more effectively with your team so that they feel empowered and inspired to contribute to your vision and they feel bought into your vision.
Well said.
So stick around. So because we wanted to offer this as a workshop, we're going to talk through it ourselves as though we are in a workshop setting. So it's not just going to be us talking to you. There might be some conversational aspects of us talking about our own business because we're also small business owners. So yeah, shall we get started?
Let's do it.
All right, let's dive in.
Should we start with our little icebreaker?
Let's go.
All right. What inspired you to start your business?
So what inspired me to start a coaching business in general is, well, seeing where people get stuck and also seeing the vision, this really massive, massive vision of what happens when humans remove those blocks and live up to their true potential. And it was almost like I was living this life where I was tortured by having vision into someone's true potential, but then also witnessing them blocking themselves when it comes to living up to it. And I said, no more. I cannot live like this. I must help my fellow humans meet their true potential. So that's pretty much the anchored inspiration.
Cool.
How about you?
Well, I started my working life. Like I've worked for family members who own small businesses, and that started at a young age, maybe like 12 or 13 years old. And I'd work for summers, like 5 or 6 summers. I was working for my cousin. Began to work in like an automotive garage, and I always felt inspired by being someone who owns this business that can contribute to a community. So then I went to business school and I was like, okay, I'm going to learn this, like how to run a business, how to do the thing without having a business or an idea or a concept to execute. So then I went the path of the corporate world to gain some more skills, to better refine my leadership, and then got hurt and then had a shift. I was like, okay, so now let's go back to the entrepreneurial life. Is this what you were going to be doing? Kind of course corrected yourself from corporate back to being that entrepreneur. And what really inspires me now is just like that sovereignty and
Yeah.
autonomy that comes with being a small business owner and helping others, like as a leadership coach or mindfulness teacher, yoga teachers, just like helping people to uncover their own autonomy and sovereignty by noticing or by witnessing me do it for myself while also holding the space for them to do it for themselves without trying to project anything onto them, just
Hmm.
like holding the space for them to uncover it.
Yeah.
So it's just like this inspiration to just help one another figure it out, so we don't rely
Yeah.
on anyone else.
Thanks for sharing. And you reminded me of another inspiration for me. May I share?
Yeah,
Um, the hierarchy of corporate life. I worked with an amazing team in a corporate setting for 7 years as a commercial real estate firm. And I reached a point where I was just looking at the hierarchy and thinking about my bonuses and the structure of it all. And I had this moment of, it was kind of like a revelation where I was like, wait a minute. My boss is determining how much I get paid, which is essentially determining my value, my self worth. And it had an impact on my self worth. And I was like, my self worth is dependent on this. And who is he to determine that when someone above, him is determining how much he gets paid? And what's determining how much they get paid? So just kind of following the money essentially and being like, none of this makes sense. Why are we all determining our worth based on these structures and deciding I determine my worth and I determine my value and I get to decide how much money I get paid by the universe, by the cosmic bank. That was also kind of just ju- taking a timeline hop out of a hierarchy and into my own structure was a big inspiration for me.
cool.
Yeah. So if you're watching at home, please feel free to pause this journal, jot down some bullet points, anything that might have come up for you for what inspires you to start your business.
Beautiful. And, from that space of inspiration, we'll be able to better understand or share our vision with others. Um, so, like, the whole purpose of this is like now feeling into what you just experienced when thinking about what inspired you to start your business. And then, like, how do you communicate that
Mm-hmm.
to others? 'Cause, like, there's a lot of brands out there that have this story that people just fall in love with,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps their business to thrive.
Yeah. Yep. The mission. So I guess that's another question. If you want to pause and journal again, maybe just even think about how clear are you on your business's mission.
Mm.
All right, keep
Keep
moving. I
moving.
know we have a lot to get through, and we want to keep this to just an hour because we know you're busy business owners. So we're gonna keep it moving. Um, so next up, so we're gonna talk about the importance of a clear vision. We're gonna spend some time on that. We're gonna talk about the barriers to that vision alignment in the setting of your business. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. Tools and strategies for communicating your vision, which includes crafting a clear and concise vision statement. We have a great tool for that, and it's part of the Energy Leadership Development System. So email us if you'd like a PDF of that tool. I love it. Um, we're going to talk about embedding the vision into daily operations, protocols, anything that needs to be in writing. We
Mm-hmm.
are big advocates for getting things in writing. And so we'll get to that. And then we're going to talk about aligning the team through storytelling. So just as we kind of told our stories, try to keep it brief, we're going to invite you to go deep within your own story and learn how to tell that story in a way that inspires others. You have a team full of warriors who are just waiting for inspiration. And then we're going to talk about creating an action plan for maybe the rest of the year or going into the next year. So, first, yes, the importance of a clear vision. Chris, how important is a clear vision?
It's one of the most important. I love that we talked about creating a mission statement and also creating a vision statement, because just like it says in the vision, like the word vision, the vision is the place we get to see where we're heading. In every decision along the way returns back to the vision. So it is this like it's that guiding light for decision making and purpose for the organization. It's something that if you have a clear vision of where you're heading and you start to talk with other people, they have an idea of where you're going, and then you want to align with the people. It's like, oh, I generally see that also.
In some ways, you can cultivate a clear vision. One is check in with your core values. We have a core values assessment. If you'd like to do the assessment, email us. I'm Rachel at Feedback Loop Coaching. Chris is Chris at Feedback Loop Coaching. So feel free to email us. We'll share that values assessment with you, and that's something you can always return to. Man, I had something else in my brain that I wanted to share that's so helpful. Um, I'll, you getting um, for cultivating a clear vision. Oh, this is what I had in mind. Be clear on who your archetypes are. Be
Mm.
clear on who has been where you want to go. This may sound like it's not, I don't know. I guess it may sound woo woo, but a vision board could help. It's not woo woo at all. It is scientifically proven to help. So because it's like having a piece of artwork up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have our friend's artwork up. That artwork that artwork starts to embed itself into our subconscious. So a vision board can begin to embed itself into your subconscious, and the subconscious is really what drives your communication more than your conscious mind. Your subconscious shows up into the room before you do. So having your archetypes, your role models, your mentors, having them somewhere where you can see on a daily basis where you're going, that will embed itself within the fabric of your subconscious, and then you'll be able to show up to your team, to
Mm-hmm.
your work, to your business with that within. So for me, I have some well, we have shared core values for our business. So if you want to take a moment and talk about your core values or write them down, I know for us, freedom is big.
Freedom,
we are,
yeah.
that's probably like the top core value for our business is freedom. Freedom for our clients. We hope everybody feels more free after working with us, just whatever freedom means to you. So yeah, I know autonomy, sovereignty are big for us.
Mm-hmm.
Authenticity, transparency, expression.
Yeah, and as you're talking about this, I keep thinking about the importance of really excavating this out for yourself when creating this vision for your business, because the more clear you are on it, the more it's going to be easier for you to share it with others, especially once and when questions come up. And this will just help to alleviate any of the miscommunication.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And speaking of miscommunication, what are some of the consequences of miscommunication? Maybe you're experiencing that with your team right now, and you want to reflect on it. You want to pause this video and take some notes. We can share some of the things we've witnessed in our work with local small businesses. Just some of the consequences of unclear communication. Chris, what have you noticed?
I've noticed just a lack of employee engagement and a lot of taking advantage of the leader or the owner. And what's also coming up is now like the accountability aspect to this, because being able to hold others accountable to the vision is important part of protecting it and ensuring the vision lives on and continues to flourish. It's just like I've noticed just that lack of engagement, the loss of money from having to hire, fire, rehire, fire, hire, train, hire, fire, train, whatever.
Low retention,
Yeah, low
yeah.
retention rate.
Low retention's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Hiring headhunters is expensive. Also, something I've observed from working with small businesses where communication is an issue, if the designated leader isn't communicating clearly, then the team members are going to communicate with each other. And sometimes that has a whole other layer of miscommunication, which can include disrespect. It can include gossip. It can include, this sounds so intense, but the word that's coming to mind is like a coup. Like
Mutiny.
exactly. It's not, I mean, we haven't worked with any businesses where it's gotten that intense, but
It's possible.
it is possible. What we've witnessed is, oh, they're disgruntled. How do we shift that? And it's possible. It's completely possible. There are paths of communication that go both ways. And here's the thing: if you are watching this as a team member and you're curious how to help your small business owner, a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs are actually people pleasers, like recovering what well, various stages of people pleasing, whether they're recovering from it or they don't even know they're people pleasing. And it can be really hard to communicate when you are a people pleaser and you haven't really figured out how to swing what I call the level 5 sort of discernment. So it's being discerning, clear, and making decisions quickly and accurately can really tighten up communication so that gossip doesn't occur behind the designated leader's back, which can really be, it could be like a virus on the team.
Yeah, and this includes like as the business owner, this includes the vulnerability of letting employees know, hey, things are tough right now. Hey, you might notice that I'm distracted. It's because I care so much about our business. I need to focus in on this. And that clear communication will maybe inspire them to like, oh my gosh, like they're feeling it. They care so much. I'm gonna pick up the work, pick up the slack.
Yeah. Yep. And know this, your small business owner leader, I feel like I'm talking to the employees now. This is funny because Chris usually works with the designated leaders and I usually work with the teams. So I'm so used to talking about the teams or talking with the teams, and Chris is more used to talking to the leader. So what I was gonna say, like to the team, Know that your small business owner, the designated leader, wants to pay you, wants to see you thrive, wants to shower you in abundance, and may not have the tools yet to articulate why that's not happening at this time. Yet there's still this vision that they're holding through their mind's eye, and they know one day if you all just stick it out and work together as a team, the abundance is coming, the flow is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the small business owner, if you can communicate that from a place of confidence and inspiration and optimism, your employees will be able to receive it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And now, like, we can think of an example that we can share. Like, who has a great vision statement that we really like fall in love with?
Mackenzie, cacao.
Cacao, yeah. And like,
Mm-hmm.
what is it about her vision that's clear and well communicated?
Everything. I think it's birthed from her passion. So there's that. But everything. The recirculation of funds going back to the farmers, like she communicates that over and over
Mm-hmm.
that what we pay, like why ceremonial cacao is more expensive than what you know consumer based culture wants. She does such an amazing job of communicating why it's more expensive and how much goes into the farms and making sure that it's ceremonial grade, which includes biodiversity and
Mm-hmm.
intention. And wait, what was the question?
What is it about her vision that like is so well communicated that we really enjoy?
You thinking of something specific?
No, I'm
Oh,
actually looking up. I'm gonna try to pull her. See if I can pull up her
her
mission.
vision
Yeah,
mission statement.
yeah.
And that and I want to offer this. If your passion isn't in it, like what we're talking about with cacao, what comes to mind is her passion.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not there, if you're a small business owner watching this and you're thinking about your business and your mission, and if the passion isn't there, that's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that and then maybe shuffle the deck, reshuffle. And and if you feel like your passion's not there, you still have a team of talent,
Mm-hmm.
and your business can do anything. A talented team can do anything. So um, don't don't give up yet. Talk to us before um, burning the whole thing down.
So Mackenzie's, it's written as her mission. It's twofold: to protect wild native strains of cacao while supporting and uplifting the farmers, communities, and indigenous families that cultivate them. Two, to share the power of true ceremonial grade cacao with the world at large for the betterment of humanity, our planet, and beyond.
So even that, the way that it's worded on the website, just saying straight up, the mission is twofold. How clear is that?
Mm-hmm. I know exactly, reading this, I know exactly what cacao's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's straight to the point. There's no fluff. Like it's clear. There's no ambiguity. To share the power of true ceremonial grade cacao with the world at large for the
Mm-hmm.
betterment of humanity, our planet, and beyond.
And you know what? If this seems overwhelming, I know hearing a really solid mission statement like that can seem overwhelming. Reach out to us. We
Yeah.
can help with this. This is what we do. We can help refine it. Again, we could talk about core values.
Mm-hmm.
We can get it out of you so that you can then synthesize it into a clear, articulated statement.
Yeah. So this leads us into our next objective for today's workshop, and that's identifying barriers to the vision statement.
Mm-hmm.
So as we were just talking about, like how clear Cacao's vision statement was. Now we can talk about what it might be like if it's not clear, or if it's vague, if it's overly complex.
Uh, yes, overly complex is chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it that way. And if it's overly complex, it's going to be really hard to communicate that to your team.
Mm-hmm.
If it's vague, it's going to be really hard to communicate that to the team and get everybody on board.
Mm-hmm.
And I like cringing because I've seen what happens. Um, and I've also seen what happens. Another barrier when it's is like a lack of transparency. I think you could kind of see like my mind's traveling. I'm thinking of examples where these barriers have come up. Um, and I don't want to use these specific examples just in case it ever gets out. I think, yeah. So I'm gonna pass the mic to you.
Yeah. When when we're not clear. Nice. When we're not clear, and we haven't taken the time to fully put it together or come up with something clear, then it gives the employee or the people you hire for support the opportunity to begin to make choices that will shape the vision or how the business is going to grow in a way that might not be in alignment with how you imagine things
Right.
going.
So let's use the example of a retail shop, okay? Let's say you are a retail establishment and you sell books, and you have an employee who comes in and they just see a space, a space for opportunity, which is great. Certainly is a space for opportunity, but maybe they don't know your vision. Maybe it's not clear. And they say, I'm just going to set up a table here and I'm going to start selling tea. And over time, and then you see maybe they're not just selling tea, they're committing a lot of that time to their social media
Mm-hmm.
content within the space. And you're watching, you're like, oh man, this isn't about the business anymore. Having a clear vision in the first place will weed those people out
Mm-hmm.
before they even get their hooks in.
Yeah, it's like a shield, and I like to think about why I'm a huge proponent of taking time to create this vision, which is also one part of a bigger piece, which is like a business plan, is
Mm-hmm.
because it's your manifesto. Everything you put into there, and you take the time to write it out and dissect it down to employees and their roles,
Mm-hmm.
then it's all clear. And we have something to fall back on when, oh, wait, we're confused. Oh, let's go to our handbook.
Yes.
Let's go to the handbook that has everything I need to see, up and down to like how, because in business plans, you forecast into the future.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if an employee's like, oh, where are we heading? They can go to the section where it's like, oh, our goal is to make $500,000 in sales annually, and then increase our production
Mm-hmm.
or increase our services or buy this to make things easier. So there's this, once you have the vision, you then model the vision day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes the integrity, because you have the vision, that's one thing. But if you're not walking the vision, if you're not walking the talk, and there's no integrity to the vision, it's not living out day to day,
Yeah.
then it's going to become more difficult to A, clearly communicate the vision to your employees, and B, get their buy-in because they're going to see one thing written and it modeled in a completely different way.
Mm-hmm. When we get better at making YouTube videos, we'll have a little thing that pops up that is listing it. So I'm like picturing something popping up that says, day-to-day operations. When you have clarity around your day-to-day operations, like Chris with his advocacy for handbooks, it's setting your company up to grow. It could be really easy. Let's say you're starting a business and you're just a group of friends for now, and you think, oh, everybody gets it, which is another thing, another barrier to small business owners communicating the vision is this assumption or interpretation, two inner blocks, that everybody just gets it. Everybody just gets where we're going. That's not the case. We entrepreneurs have a very specific vision, and maybe that comes with branding, colors, fonts, whatever, social media content. And they need people to help. But unless it's communicated, people are going to help in whatever ways they think are helpful. And what can go wrong there is if it's not in alignment with the vision, the business owner, might cringe or like, not want to use the work that their employees create without communicating why they're not using it, why it's not being incorporated into the process, and that can lower morale, it can lower engagement. So really having a clear vision with the day-to-day protocol can really set you up for success when you're small, and then
Mm.
empower you to grow, because as you grow, it's less, let's say, vibey. It's not as vibey. You can't count on vibes to to explain the day-to-day operations. So you want to have something. I love that the yoga studio has is that like printed out sheet of like day-to-day, like vacuum the studio. I think it says before. No,
Before.
after. Yeah, before. um, so yeah, having really clear protocols in place, and then when you're onboarding new employees, you can just point to it, like just read it, check it out. Not like that, get excited about it, enthusiasm.
I mean,
Go.
and it shows because the number of comments and reviews we get that talk about the cleanliness of the
Hmm.
space,
Yeah.
like that's a direct result of the protocol.
Yep. The protocol. Um, and Yeah. And then also, when you have real clear protocol, guess what? You can go on vacation, you can travel, and you can leave your team with the protocol, because I don't know about you, but one of the reasons that I took the leap into entrepreneurship was because I wanted to be able to travel whenever I wanted. So, a really solid team, a solid foundation, who are empowered to keep the machine operating when you're away, you'll have way more freedom.
Mm-hmm. And that'll go a long way with the employees because
Hmm.
they'll see that you trust them.
Okay, so now it's time. So we don't really have any of these communication challenges between us because it's just two of us, and I think we communicate a lot telepathically. So we would probably run into challenges trying to communicate to someone else. um, though for you, if you're watching this, chances are you have a team. Maybe it's a team of one, maybe it's a team of five, maybe it's a team of 10. The prompt for you now, get your journal out and feel free to hit the pause button when you're ready. The prompt is, what challenges do you face in communicating your vision. So hit pause, write it down, whatever's coming up, let us know. Are you hearing the Jeopardy song?
No, I'm
Oh.
just hearing a pause song though.
I was hearing the Jeopardy song.
Oh, I like it.
I guess we're not telepathic.
Oh, we were hearing a song.
A pause song. All right, so are we ready?
We're
For
ready.
tools? Awesome. Okay. So we want to give you some tools. I see you flipping through your book. I don't know if you've got something in mind or if
I'm looking. You can keep on going.
Okay. So, as we mentioned, one tool is a values assessment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the first step to get really clear on why you're moving forward with this business. You know, how does it connect with your core values? How does it align with your core values? So again, we have that tool. I don't know how to share it on YouTube. Feel free to email us if you'd like to use this tool and talk it through. Another tool is we have, well, do you want to talk about the ELDS?
Yeah, we have. So it's called the ELDS, the Energy Leadership Development System, and it's geared towards business owners like yourself. So it is. I think it's a 12-week. I think it might be a 12-week program that takes you on the journey of becoming clear about who you are in a stressful state, in a non-stressful state, and also how that may show up in your business, and becoming clear about what the entity of your business is, including the vision and the mission statement. So it is a process that will help to alleviate any of the stressors that come up around creating a business. And we're able to supplement that with kind of our business acumen that some of the ELDS doesn't necessarily offer.
Yeah. So the reason the ELDS came to mind is because there is a specific tool in there that helps to create a vision statement, like very simple, one sentence, and I'd like to share that so I can just take that page out of the ELDS and email it to you if you'd like. We can even get on the phone, get on a Zoom, and talk through it. So that's so we've got let's list them so far. So we've got the values assessment. We have the tool, the one sentence vision statement tool. We're gonna get that to you somehow. Just email us. And then next is we want to talk about any tools for embedding that vision into daily operations. I feel like you're really passionate about daily operations, creating handbooks, things like that. That might sound like a lot for a small business owner. What are some tools that can help reduce the overwhelm, maybe offset some of the work that goes into creating like a handbook or a protocol?
Well, I'd say one of the big ones now is just becoming more familiar with AI and utilizing some AI platform, whether it's ChatGPT. I know X has one called Grok. Google has one. Probably Apple has something. But maybe utilizing these platforms just to help you to create structure and form for any handbook and vision you want to create. So that'd be like the first place to start because I know for myself personally, if I can see it already structured out, it's going to alleviate so much stress And these artificial intelligence, like they're there to help us.
Mm-hmm.
We can be on a great terms with them. So I would start there with just creating form, and it'll help you to kind of hash it out what you're trying to look for or create for your business plan or mission or handbook, whatever you're trying to offer your employees. And then I would maybe create time, whether it's once a day, once a week, bi weekly, once a month, where all the employees, everyone who works for you, meet.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can share any updates. Ideally, this is done daily, depending on the type of operation you're running. Especially if you're in like a retail establishment, things are changing regularly. So you want to kind of stay up to date on that and share any comps or sales goals. But trying to find a time to have meetings just to remind everybody where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
It's important. And then that also creates this human connection and gets rid of the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of brings everyone together.
Yeah, another tool that's coming to mind is the ELI assessment.
Mm.
And that's coming to mind because I'm thinking of attitude. When you said retail, what came to mind was when we're watching Top Chef and you notice that all the cans and all the labels and the shelves, like everything's fully stocked and all the labels are uniform, like
Oh, yeah.
facing out. So when the Bravo cameras come through, the the Whole Foods looks immaculate or the Target looks immaculate. And I know because you are watching that through the lens of someone who is in charge of telling your employees, like, this is how it looks. So why that is bringing up the ELI assessment to me is because I'm picturing two different leaders. I'm picturing one anabolic leader and one catabolic leader. The anabolic leader, so just if you're totally new to this language, anabolic comes from the root ana is build, and kata is down. So it's anabolic's like to build up, catabolic is to tear down. That's I feel like that's enough for now. Just anabolic energy is fueling, growing, healing, expanding. Catabolic energy is limiting, restrictive, contracting, stress. And so I'm picturing two leaders, right? One anabolic, one catabolic. I'm picturing the anabolic leader going through the Whole Foods, training the new employee, pointing to the shelves and being like, isn't this beautiful when they're all lined up like this? How great does that look? Like, you can contribute to that.
It is satisfying.
It is aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, like any Virgos in the house, I know I'm Virgo rising, so I know like you love when everything is just so. So that can seem like monotonous if, and it's totally up to the leader. It's totally up to the person training. If a catabolic leader is walking you through, imagine with an attitude like, we're supposed to do this, I don't care, whatever. How engaged are you going to be with that day to day operation? So if you don't know if your energy is enthusiastic or anabolic or inspiring growth and inspiring motivation, reach out. You can take this assessment. It'll let you know what your energy is. It's like an x-ray of your energy.
Mm.
That's probably the most important thing, to be honest, is your energy.
It's funny that these are like, as a retail manager, like these are the things like I would bring to small businesses that I would help out. Like, doesn't it look so much better when all the labels are facing the same way? Like, people are going to be more likely to want to buy it because it looks clean.
Yeah.
And even like sizing shirts.
Yep.
Like nothing's more frustrating than going to try to like find a shirt and have the sizes all
Mm-hmm.
out of whack. And I remember, so this retail stuff, because I do have a background in retail management, and zoning is what we called it, to make sure all the labels were turned forward, the boxes were pulled right up to the edge, so the aisle looked clean and clear. So when we closed the store at night, it was our responsibility to inspire our employees to want to
Yep.
make the store look that nice every night. And I would make a game out of it. So some nights, most nights I closed, if my task list wasn't extremely large, I would take a section. And all my employees, we'd all compete around who would have the nicest looking section.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, they loved it. And they understood that if I took, sometimes I'd only take like 4 aisles or maybe a row of like end caps. But they understood like that's a lot for somebody who's running a
Right.
store. But they would see me working it. They would see me working any of the stuff that had to go back to the floor. And at the end of the night, like we would walk and like look at our different areas, and
Mm-hmm.
there'd be a winner.
That's a great example of one of the traits of an anabolic leader is project shares. A catabolic leader delegates entirely. And while delegation is important for the anabolic leader so they don't experience burnout, the anabolic leader will still project share. And that's exactly what Chris did in those situations. He was sharing and leading by example so that when his employees saw his section, they knew exactly what to do and how their sections
Yep.
should look and could look.
Though I was a little sneaky. I'd try to pick the aisles that had the big boxes or had the bulkier items.
Well, you're a big guy,
I
so
wasn't I wasn't choosing the cat food aisle.
you had other stuff to do. So, okay, so that's another tool. So the tools, let's see, we've got core values assessment. We have the vision statement exercise that we've got. AI is a great tool for just coming up with a handbook. You could ask AI to make a handbook for you. I'll tell you, I was really resistant to AI probably up until like a week ago. But Chris became intimately familiar because in his MBA program it was part of the school. Like, right, you guys?
Yeah, my professors asked us to use AI so they could better understand it. So we'd have open dialogue about how we used it, what we noticed, some of the challenges, some of the benefits. So it's like, because even my professor's like, this is new. This is going to be a part of how we do things moving forward. And it's important for us to better understand how to use this because we don't want students coming in and just
Yeah.
using AI to rip off a good grade.
Yeah. So might as well AI is here. Might as well use it to delegate.
Hmm.
To so we have another workshop in the works. And part of that workshop we're using the Eisenhower matrix, which basically discerns what's urgent and important. The matrix has 4 quadrants, like do now, urgent and important, schedule, it's not urgent but it's important, delegate what's urgent but not important, and not important to you but important to the vision, the business, and that someone else can do. So that'd be a great opportunity to delegate some of the things that might be so overwhelming, like writing an employee handbook. You can delegate that to AI.
Hmm.
And then there's eliminate, which is not urgent, not important. So a sneak peek into what's coming up. So those are some tools. Do we have any more tools?
Outside of just like SMART goals,
Smart
SMART goals are
goals.
always so
Oh
great.
my gosh.
But
And yeah.
in like SMART goals are fantastic. Though what I really enjoy the SMART goal for and what we learned in coaching school was you SMART goal the first step. SMART goal around the barrier you keep pushing up against to do the next thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And then um, another big thing when it comes to working with a team, this is my favorite. So Chris and I have our team meetings on Mondays, and we always start with celebrations. We celebrate what's working. We celebrate our successes. That keeps motivation and morale high, and inspiration and energy. This again, this all comes back to energy, which maybe is why, in my opinion, the ELI assessment can be your greatest ally. We keep the vibes high with feedback loop coaching. We inspire each other, we celebrate each other, even if we don't think it's a big achievement, or maybe there's even some shame if something took me a really long time to accomplish, and then I have Chris there to be like, hey, that's a big deal. Congratulations. And then I feel good. And when you feel good, you're going to do more. You're going to perform more. You're going to perform better. So celebrate, have team meetings, ask everybody what's working well. That's something you can always ask. What's working well? And how can we replicate that? You can always ask that. Allow your team members to dig deep and see what's working well. Another distinction between an anabolic leader and a catabolic leader. The anabolic leader focuses on what's working well and amplifies that and magnifies it and magnetizes it, brings it out of people. A catabolic leader focuses on what's not working and who or what is to blame, and then everybody's walking on eggshells and doesn't want to upset that leader. That's not necessary. So celebrate the team successes that align with the vision.
hell yeah. Amazing.
Give them some snaps. And then something else I think that would be a great use for AI or job for AI is creating employee evaluation forms. Tell the AI what you want to evaluate your employee on.
Yeah, allow them to create it for you.
Yeah, allow AI to create it and have it in a way where it's not a hierarchy, but you get to talk about it together and hear where your employee's coming from. Like, have them self-evaluate.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Self-evaluation. You can rate, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, how connected were you with this task? If it's a 1, but you love this employee, you can say, oh, okay, maybe that's not within your scope of purpose.
Yeah.
And we can reshuffle the deck and play a new hand. But I
Yeah.
want you on this team.
And also, like, maybe asking, how are you contributing to the vision of the organization? What contributions would you like to make in the future?
Yeah, yeah,
Where do you see us going?
yeah.
So getting a little bit of feedback on maybe like they've seen a different process. They have a different perspective on it that may help the vision or the organization to prosper.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, another anabolic quality of leaders is anabolic leaders see the true human resource in every person, the true gift, the true unlimited potential. You don't, whereas a catabolic leader takes advantage of people and just sees how people are,
Resources.
yeah, just, ways to get like what they want, and without taking into account there's a human here with their own dreams, their own families, their own stories. So really getting to know your employees' stories can go a long way, and getting to hear how they resonate with what they're doing and really seeing the human. Like, take the time to really connect with the human within your employees. And then we're coming up on an hour, so I wanna end this with another action or strategy, which is storytelling. Tell your story.
That's one of the things that really attracts me to Fly Cacao is Mackenzie is courageous and shares her story regularly. And it's a living story. Like she gives it to you real time. And if you ask her about the origins, she'll give you that. But she's so like in the now of what's going on. It's just really incredible. But that continuation of the stories continuing to be written and her sharing it in many ways like pulls me in to be like, wow, I want to contribute
Yeah.
to the story and how it's being written and how it's unfolding. And there's other organizations like Patagonia has a great story.
Patagonia?
Patagonia. Tom's Shoes, when they first started, had a great story. Um, who else?
Feedback loop
Feedback Loop
coaching.
Coaching. We've got a great story.
So share your story. When you share your story from the heart, it really connects the team to your vision. And that, I think, maybe above all gets the buy-in for them to contribute. And yeah, maybe, well, no, we'll wrap this up. After you're done watching this, maybe just keep your journal out and write down your story.
Yeah, just take a moment and reflect and connect back with this video at your own pace. Um, if anyone works through this workshop and wants to reach out to us, we'll be happy to kind of take 30 minutes and work with what you've kind of gone through and see how we can help you and support you moving forward for your organization.
So we did want to offer some like an
Yeah.
action plan. So three actions you can take after watching this. 1, refine your vision statement. Again, if you need help with that, contact us, but that can be number 1. Number 2, share the vision during your next team meeting. Let us know how it goes. I think you will be so pleasantly surprised about the buy-in, the feedback you get, the enthusiasm it awakens among your team. And then number 3, incorporate that vision into the daily operations. And if you need examples of that, just think of Chris at Target. His core values were very much incorporated into making it look immaculate. So I think that's what we got for now.
That's what we've got. Thanks for tuning in, and really appreciate your supporting another small business.
And happy holidays. We hope this really supports you through this holiday season and into the new year.
Ciao.